2025. We are so excited to come back and join you guys here on this very special day. We started the day earlier on with a presentation, our journey from the past, to give you guys a little recap on the history of our nonprofit organization, Pro Life San Francisco. And right now, we are going to transition a bit to talk a bit more in detail about what's going on presently, our mission in motion, as you might call it, our fight in the present. And we are going to be told all about that by our executive director, Melanie Salazar. So, welcome, Melanie.
Hello, everyone. I'm back. Woohoo! Thought you could get rid of me? You can't.
Oh, you don't want to.
If you missed the first live stream webinar this morning, don't fret. The replay is already available on our YouTube and on our Instagram. And if you are watching on Instagram, thank you. And you may have a better viewer experience on our YouTube. So I encourage you to head over there. And this talk is all about the present. So I hope you can follow along with what we're doing here today. The past, present, and our last live stream this evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time will be about our vision for the future. But right now, on our first ever Dobbs anniversary surge, we are encouraging people, we're hoping for 24 people to commit $24 in the next 24 hours on June 24th, Dobbs Day, as we pro-lifers like to call it, the anniversary of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. And you can do that at support.prolifesf.org. So, Robert, in the first live stream this morning, I talked all about how I was outside the Supreme Court the moment that the ruling came down. But let's hear from you. Where were you when the decision came down, and did you ever think Roe would be overturned?
It's crazy because just the year prior, it was either a year or two before, our founder and director at the time, Teresa, she was leading activists that Pro-Life SF organized to come together around the June medical case. I don't know if many people still remember the June medical case. And it was an unfortunate, loss for families, for children. It was about certain medical standards at abortion businesses. And interestingly enough, though, the only people out on the plaza, the sidewalk that day in front of the U.S. Supreme Court were pro-lifers, were the people organized by Pro-Life San Francisco. And so therefore, any of the news media reporters who were curious to, get people's responses, reactions, it was us who were able to be heard and amplified, much, to a much greater degree across, higher than our platforms, for example. The New York Times has a bigger readership than the Pro Life San Francisco subscription count, just saying. And so I didn't imagine it would be just like 1 year or 2 years for something so momentously, huge in the opposite direction to take place. I definitely did not expect it. And I first heard about the Dobbs, decision, of course, a couple months prior when it was leaked by presumably a staffer at the Supreme Court. And the funny thing was, guess where I was? I wasn't in San Francisco. I was in Washington, D.C. I was touching down in an airplane at
Really?
the
When the
DCA
leak when the
airport
leak came out.
when the leak came out.
That's funny.
Our phones blew up once we, shut off airplane mode. And I was like, what's going on? We were here. We were there in that moment. Like, I'm transporting myself back to that moment right now. We were traveling there to advocate for these 5 children, these 5 murdered children, 3 of whom were at least victims of infanticide federal crimes. The Justice
The
for the
justice
Five
for the
case.
5 babies, yeah.
Yeah, it had only been 1 month since they were discovered. This was in May, at the end of May. And we were there for a totally different reason, to advocate for these children, to ensure that the government gave them an autopsy, can help, get to the end point, which was the first point in the, first one, to give them a burial, a respectful burial, and get an investigation going regarding these 5 children specifically. And when our phones blew up, we saw the Dobbs leak, and it's like, shoot, we got to pivot a little bit. We got to include a little bit of this in our itinerary. So our hosts at Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising were able to incorporate advocacy for, showing the public and the powers that be that there are people in favor of this, draft Dobbs decision. And the official day when the announcement came down on June 24th, 2022, I was, of course, in my hometown, San Francisco, right where I was born and raised, to celebrate the occasion. And I had a great dinner with our current board president, John Leiby. I had a really fantastic time just kind of imagining what the future could be like now at this point, and just, really hoping and wishing that everyone could come together, Republican, Democrat, lawmaker, lobbyist, civilian, around providing real support to women and families. Because at this point, it's not going to hurt, or sorry, let me switch that around. It's not going to harm anyone to shut off abortion advocacy. Like, look at all this money, time, and energy being pushed into pushing out the abortion pill, the miscarriage inducing pill, mifepristone, without regulations or health oversight, and just not even thinking about the fact that you're helping, these families discount their children, like not even give them a second thought. It's like, why do all of these organizations, businesses, do all of this when they could spend that energy actually creating structures of support so that families don't feel like they're being held underwater, unable to support a child? And unfortunately, the state of California has gone in, that direction, stockpiling mifepristone, putting billboards in pro-life states to lure people over here for abortions. So, but thankfully, there is a voice of resistance here in California, and that, the victories aren't only happening in the pro-life states. There are, there's a rolling, there's a snowball that's rolling and rolling, and we need you guys to pack onto this and help this momentum grow so that we can be a huge change, create a huge shift in the culture of California.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Robert. So I am ready to jump right into it with talking about our mission in motion, our fight in the present. And this is going to be a talk that kind of just goes over the basics of who we are and the work that we do. Okay, wanted to make sure you can still see my face, and you can. Okay. Robert, let me know if you need anything from me on my end. So, Dobbs anniversary surge. This is our second live stream of the day, and I will be talking about our fight in the present, mission in motion. I want to just lay it out in simple terms. What is it exactly that Pro Life San Francisco does? What is the hole that we fill in our community? What is our niche? That's what we're going to talk about in this moment. And I, again, want to encourage everyone watching that today, on our first ever Dobbs anniversary surge, we are hoping for 24 people to commit $24, ideally to join our monthly support team, and do this in the next 24 hours on today, June 24th, the anniversary of the overturning of Roe. And you can do this by going to support.prolifesf.org. And if you're tech savvy, you can scan the QR code on your screen that will take you to support.prolifesf.org. And please consider committing $24 a month in the next 24 hours today on June 24th. Alrighty, so jumping into our mission in motion, our fight in the present. So, what do we even do? What is it that Pro Life SF does? I'm going to lay it out to you. So, we have three pillars of action. These are the three pillars that has been a part of the foundation of Pro Life San Francisco, and they are: one, to educate our community; two, connect pregnant women and families to resources; and three, counter the pervasive Bay Area abortion movement. So the three pillars are to educate, to connect, and to counter. And we're going to break them all down. So, what do the pillars look like in the day to day? Because I can tell you, oh, we educate, we connect, and we counter, but that's kind of vague, right? Let me talk to you about the specifics of what those pillars look like in action. Well, this is where our programs come in. This is how the pillars are acted in motion. And our programs are fighting UCSF, the University California at San Francisco. As I said in the earlier webcast this morning, San Francisco is the abortion training capital of the US, and that is because of the Ryan residency program at UCSF that trains future abortionists to go out and kill babies in the rest of the nation. UCSF also has a fetal organ harvesting program, and we demand for ethical research there. I'm going to talk more about it, but that is what I mean when I say one of our programs is fighting the egregious practices that happen at UCSF. Another one of our programs is our life affirming directory website, bayareareprocare.com. We hold it down on the sidewalk outside of our local Planned Parenthood, our local abortion business, with sidewalk outreach, pamphleting, talking to people, letting them know about resources in our city and surrounding areas. And lastly, we do mutual aid through a Repro Share Fair, which was inspired by our friends at the Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising. So let's break them down, because I just told you four different things, four different programs, and we're going to talk specifically about each program and what we do through them. And before I break them down, I'm going to remind you that today is our first ever Dobbs anniversary surge. And we're hoping for 24 of you out there to commit to giving $24, hopefully a monthly support gift, and do that in the next 24 hours today on June 24th. And you can do that by going to support.prolifesf.org and or scan the QR code on your screen. Okay, so let's get into what exactly are the programs that we do here at Pro Life San Francisco. UCSF. This falls under our counter pillar. So we counter the unethical research and demand an end to fetal organ harvesting at UCSF while exposing the heinous practices. And we do this through our public records requests on our website that are all available on our website, and talking about fetal organ harvesting, bringing this horrible practice to light on the Harvesting Justice podcast. And Robert is telling me he still sees the 24 by 24 page. Robert, I'm on a slide that shows UCSF. Let me know if you see this current page. And the QR code on your screen right now takes you to our podcast page. Yes, did you know that we, Pro Life San Francisco, have a podcast? Yes, we've been doing monthly podcast episodes since February. We've been trying to release our episodes every first of the month. And if there's no glitches, I'm going to show you our Harvesting Justice podcast page. And this is available on our website. If you go to media and click on podcast, you can easily get to our Spotify or our YouTube, or you can listen on Apple Podcasts. And we have our own Harvesting Justice Instagram page with clips from the podcast. And we have so far interviewed Tommy Kearns, father of Clementine. He is on a mission to recover his daughter's remains and bring justice for his daughter Clementine. We spoke with Elisa Martinez from New Mexico Alliance for Life, and they have done a lot of work exposing fetal organ harvesting. And we spoke with Elise Ketch, who is an author and an activist, does also correspondence with the Center for Medical Progress, also talking about fetal organ harvesting. And her episode is actually our most listened to yet. So you can listen to our podcast at Harvesting Justice, and you can scan that QR code. And we also have all the public records requests that we have been given available for public viewing on our website under campaigns. You can go to UCSF and you yourself can read all the work that we've done and these records for yourself, believe it or not. And we, to my knowledge, are the only organization that exposes fetal organ harvesting happening at UCSF, the only pro life organization. And so I have to stress, if you want our UCSF program to continue, you want us to continue to counter the Bay Area abortion movement, abortion extremism, please consider giving $24 in the next 24 hours today on June 24th to keep our UCSF program going. So, our next program is our life affirming directory website, bayareareprocare.com. And this is under our connect pillar. This is our way to connect women and families in unexpected pregnancies to life affirming resources through our one stop shop directory website. Again, we are the only pro life organization in the Bay Area to have created a life affirming directory website. Yes, the only. You would have thought it would have been done already, but no, it took Pro Life San Francisco coming in and taking all the resources available that we know of. If you know of more life affirming resources that support women, families, and children, please send them our way and would love to add them to the website. You can check out bayareareprocare.com and even scan the QR code on your screen to see the mobile version on your cell phone. Right now, I'm going to open up bayareareprocare.com and you can see this awesome website that points people, families, women to local resources that will help them throughout pregnancy and beyond. On this website, we point people to our local life affirming pregnancy health clinics and family resource centers that are in the city of San Francisco. And we have even more resources available telling people how to learn about fertility awareness, charting, tracking, and if someone is houseless or homeless, resources for them. And there's a plethora of resources on this website. I encourage you to check it out at bayareareprocare.com. Again, we are the only pro-life organization in the Bay Area to ever have created a one-stop shop life affirming directory website. And if you want this program to connect, that falls under our connect pillar, to continue in the San Francisco Bay Area, we are encouraging 24 people to commit $24 in the next 24 hours today, June 24th, to keep our programs going. Our next program is Sidewalk Outreach. Yes, you know her, you love her. Going to the sidewalk, and this falls under our connect pillar. And through sidewalk outreach, we connect women and families in unexpected pregnancies to life affirming resources through encountering them on the sidewalk of our local abortion business. And sidewalk outreach, it's, you never know what you're going to get out there. It's like a box of chocolates. Sometimes you have different characters like security and death escorts that are glorified door openers. Sometimes they push you, and sometimes you get people who yell at you, say, stop harassing women. But sometimes, and that may be the worst of it, but sometimes you may save a baby. And so what matters more? Like, what's the worst thing? Okay, someone yells at you, or you save a baby. Having courage does not mean that you're not afraid, but courage is the decision that something matters more than your fear. So we try to take courage that potentially saving a baby from being killed and preventing a woman, a family, from a lifetime of regret matters more than our fear of what the haters may say. And we do have a legal right to be on public property. Even the San Francisco law allows for sidewalk outreach. What the law does not allow for is harassment, but that's a given, right? You and I would not harass someone even if we weren't standing outside an abortion business. If we were just standing outside of a supermarket, a pharmacy, you're not going to harass people regardless, right? So we are holding it down out there on the sidewalk of our local abortion business. And you may see closely in this image that we have our own life affirming literature. We have Bay Area Repro Care brochures that point people to our life affirming directory website. So if you feel the call to go stand on the front lines of the pro-life movement, the last one of the last chance to encounter someone before an abortion decision, you are able to print out these brochures for yourself and use them in your sidewalk outreach, your sidewalk ministry. So this is another program that we do. And if you want this program to continue in the San Francisco Bay Area, we encourage you to please support us on this Dobbs Surge Anniversary Day to give $24 in the next 24 hours on June 24th. And a last program that we do is our Repro Sharefair Mutual Aid. And this also falls under the Connect pillar. And through our Repro Sharefair Mutual Aids, we connect women and families in unexpected pregnancies to life affirming resources through tangibly helping them by mutual aid from our Repro Sharefair. And if you're interested, you can scan the QR code on your screen right now, and this will take you to our Repro Sharefair page on our website. And you can find our Amazon wish list, and you can contribute to our Repro Sharefair by purchasing something off of our Amazon wish list that we then give to women and families when we do mutual aid. So that is a type of outreach event that we do about once a month. And if you want mutual aid repro share fairs to continue in San Francisco, please consider supporting us this Dobbs Day anniversary by giving $24. Now, what about the pillar educate? I went over, we connect families to resources, and we counter the abortion industry, the abortion movement. But I haven't gone over the pillar of educate. We connect, counter, and educate. Now, how do we educate? Well, we educate through social media. Okay. If you are following us online, you have seen education over the years, especially education about laws that are happening. We also educate through working with the press, working with the media when asked to comment on articles and current events. We also educate through student interviews, believe it or not, and we don't talk about this much publicly, but many students reach out to us throughout the school year asking for interviews to help them on their projects on controversial issues. Recently, I did an interview with a student who was studying at a French immersion school, and this is pretty frequent throughout the school year that we get asked by students to give them the pro life perspective on their research projects because it's pretty easy to find us. If you Google pro life orgs in San Francisco, we will pop up. So we are constantly getting interview requests throughout the year. And the last primary way that we educate is when we are invited to speak. Often we have gotten invites to speak at church young adult events, and we are open and willing to speak at any and all community events and gatherings if you will so have us. So if you want us to continue the pillar of education, to continue educating pro life people or even those who don't agree with us in San Francisco, we encourage you to give today on our Dobbs Surge anniversary $24 in the next 24 hours on June 24th. And you can do that through support.prolifesf.org. So that is our third pillar of education. But what I didn't say is that we have a sort of pseudo pillar that is community. So educate, connect, counter, and community. And how do we do community? How do we create community for pro life people in the San Francisco Bay Area? Well, we do this through our monthly meetups. We try to meet up once a month with fun activities. This picture on the far left was at an escape room and we had a lot of fun. We did escape the room. That was a fun social. And sometimes we get together and afterwards we do some culture jamming. You can see in this picture, we put up some flyers telling people, alerting people about that UCSF harvests baby body parts through abortions. Here we are. This large group picture was at the Oakland pro life walk. So that was through one of our weeks of action, encouraging people to come to this event. And also part of that week of action, we did a volunteer day at one of our local life affirming pregnancy centers, Alpha Pregnancy Center. And through community, we also support our local life affirming life affirming centers like Bella Primary Care by attending their gala. So that is one of our ways that we create community is through monthly meetups and weeks of action in trying to raise up pro life people in the San Francisco Bay Area and train them to be pro life leaders. And if you want the pillar of community to continue to exist for pro life people in the San Francisco Bay Area, to have an outlet to know that you can be pro life in San Francisco. And in fact, you're not the only one. You're not alone. You have a community. If you want this community to continue to exist in San Francisco, please consider giving $24 on this Dobbs Surge anniversary day, to give $24 in the next 24 hours on June 24th at support.prolifesf.org. So, to recap, I just said a lot, but I'm going to break it down even more. What exactly do we do? What does Pro Life San Francisco do? I'm kind of looking like an Italian right now. What's going on here? What's it all about? What are our pillars? They are to educate our community, to connect pregnant women and families to resources, to counter the pervasive Bay Area abortion movement. And then bonus pillar is community for pro-lifers in the Bay Area. Educate, connect, counter, and community. So those are our pillars. But how exactly do we educate, connect, and counter? And we do that through our programs. And our programs are fighting UCSF, demanding for ethical research, exposing the egregious practices there, UCSF, hosting our Bay Area ReproCare.com life affirming one stop shop directory website, holding a life affirming presence by doing sidewalk outreach outside our local abortion business, and lastly, doing mutual aid through our Repro Share Fairs. And then the bonus pillar of community is through monthly meetups, weeks of action, being an outlet for pro life people to have a home in the San Francisco Bay Area. And to recap, our pillars are educate, counter, connect. Educate, connect, counter. Bonus pillar is community. How do we do these pillars? Through our programs, UCSF, Bay Area ReproCare.com, Sidewalk Outreach, Repro Share Fair, Mutual Aid. So I said a lot, and if you're following, thank you so much. If you want to keep these programs in the abortion training capital of the United States, you guessed it, folks, you guessed it. We encourage you so very much to support us on this Dobbs anniversary surge. We are hoping for 24 people to commit $24. Ideally, make it an ongoing gift by joining our monthly support team. And do this in the next 24 hours, ideally today on June 24th, the anniversary of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. You can support us at support.prolifesf.org. And if you're tech savvy, take out your device and scan that QR code, and it will take you to that same website, support.prolifesf.org. And that's all I have for you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Melanie, for sharing with us that, in-depth overview on the active programs we're able to do and the week to week, day to day, month to month. And I would say, ever since I first learned about this community, when it first booted up in 2016, when it first started, I was just so grateful to finally be able to speak to, people who live where I live on an ongoing basis without it being like a 1 day or 2 day event. And then people, zip off away from San Francisco to their respective corners of California or of the US. I was really grateful to, see annual events pop up, but with an ongoing community, it was just such a, for lack of a better term, a blessing. I'm not religious myself, but I would, yeah, definitely say it's a blessing in some shape or form to be able to, you know, have something in common with people who have their eyes open to this harm being perpetuated by institutions, um, in in our backyard. And Melanie, if you could put words to it, how would you describe the value of keeping an ongoing pro-life community alive in San Francisco? Like, what is the value of that to you, not just to the children and all the people we can positively impact, but what is the impact, the value to you?
Yeah, it's so extremely important, especially in a place like San Francisco, for a pro life presence to exist. I mean, if we aren't the brave, outgoing, not hiding voice for the babies, then who is? And people feel so often that they are alone. I feel like I meet so many people who, when they find out pro life San Francisco exists, they're like, oh, I have been living here for X amount of time, or I'm an SF native, and I had no idea pro life SF was here, which I'm always puzzled by because I feel like if you just Googled like pro life in San Francisco will come up, but that's besides the point. Neither
Not
here nor
everyone's on the internet. Not everyone is
there.
chronically online.
So it it is so important for people to have an outlet, for there to be a voice for the babies, for us to exist saying, yes, I am San Franciscan and I'm pro life. I love my city. I'm not going anywhere. And the babies here are worth fighting for, especially in a place like San Francisco, California. They are worth fighting for. San Francisco babies are worth protecting. And I
I would
hope
add to
that,
that,
uh huh.
crossing boundaries, being able to come together from various backgrounds and encourage each other face to face, that prevents us from losing hope, from burnout, from feeling so stigmatized that we can't do a single thing to speak up for the children. Being together, encouraging each other does so much to lighten the mood, to equip us to do a lot more, and being able to help another person to whether it's helping fill in the gaps of their understanding of things, because not all pro-life people know everything. Even me, I keep my ears open to learn new things every day. Even from people who have a different perspective from us, we have to keep our ears open, or else we're not being honest. So being able to speak and nurture each other within the pro-life community is another benefit of that as well.
I just thought of another point of the importance of pro life San Francisco existing in the space that we do, or in the space that we've created for ourselves, because San Francisco is so diverse. There is an array of people on religious, political, ideological spectrums. It's so important that people have a funnel into a pro life home, that over here at Pro Life San Francisco, whatever your background is, you have a home here and you can be pro life, whether you're atheist, progressive, Catholic, conservative, a mix of whatever. It's okay. And that's great. And you can be pro life and you have a home here. I like to say, I don't like the expression, the analogy of a melting pot, because a melting pot is kind of like you all melt and then become one thing. And I don't want people to become one thing. I don't think there should be any cookie cutter type of pro lifer. Be who you are, stay who you are, and you can be pro life. I like the analogy of a salad bowl, that you can be a tomato, some lettuce, some croutons, whatever have you,
And the
and
crouton.
we can all be a part of the pro life salad bowl. So those are my last thoughts.
Awesome. Was there anything else that we ought to share during this second of the 3 Dobbs Anniversary Surge live streams today?
Well, if you are just now joining in, you missed the first live stream, you missed the first half of this live stream, or you missed the second half, whatever, these live streams will be available on replay on our YouTube and I think on our Instagram. So no need to fret. And we will be doing a third webinar live stream this evening, 6 p.m. Pacific time. This morning, Robert went over our journey from the past. Just now, this live stream, I went over our mission in motion, our fight in the present. And this evening, 6 p.m. Pacific, I will be going over our vision for the future. Ooh, what's
Looking
next for
forward to
Pro-Life
it.
San Francisco? Nail
Yeah.
biter. So you'll have to tune in at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And again, just to close off, we encourage everyone to please consider giving $24 in the next 24 hours on today, June 24th, the anniversary of Dobbs v. Jackson, the Supreme Court case that overturned Roe. If you want to keep our pro-life work going in the San Francisco Bay Area, continue our programs, please consider giving $24. And if not, can you share these live streams to 24 people? So that's all I have, and looking forward to seeing, hopefully, more people at the 6 p.m. live streams.
Stay tuned, guys. See you later.